Hello everybody, welcome back to the Nukeshot Media YouTube channel for what is going to be, without a doubt, a fantastic series that we'll be witnessing over the coming weeks and months even. It is, of course, the much hyped Sim Racing Federation ARS Racing Series World GT Series. Round 1 here live at the Nürburgring GP circuit. It is fantastic weather here today. As you can see, it is 8 AM in game time. Looking forward to some fantastic racing. As I said, an absolutely stacked grid from across the various communities we have. Let's have a look at some of the names. Of course, TSR Stig, one of the leading lights in the Simpact community. He will be on the Simpact Gojira team in that Nissan. Interesting to note that has had a BOP revision for this series specifically, so be interesting to see how that does. Shouldn't be as dominant on the straights, but should be a little bit better in the corners. We'll see how it goes for them. Fred Dude, representing Nukeshot SSE, the BMW Works team. Been looking quite good in practice, I have to say. Been setting some very good lap times. Of course, one of my drivers for this one, I have a little bit of extra info on that. I'm not going to give away too many details. The Joe 2 guy, one of the most dominant drivers in our community. He's in car 27, although it says 93 on the above car graphics. They'll probably be fixed at some point. Of course, they are for the main Simpact team, Simpact AMG. The guy most people are here to see, Roland Jupiter Quinners. He is going to be driving for the ARS Racing team, the hosts of this championship, in that fantastically coloured bright orange Porsche 911. Just having a bit of a sunbathing session in the gravel. Wybear, car 99, also for BMW by Nukeshot SSE, Starscream Enterprises that is, shout out to them. Also been looking quite quick in testing. ART James, car 95, again that's 93 there. Probably be fixed at some point. Apologies for that slight discrepancy. They also looking quite strong in that Aston Martin. They are racing for ARS Racing Blue, the second team of that outfit, of the hosts. Be interesting to see how they do. Now a late switch in cars. Paradox Auto Works have recently switched to the Jaguar from the Ferrari. Arama, one of their drivers here pictured. Note the green accents on the mirrors and the front grille. That's how you can tell them apart from their teammate who has yellow accents. No doubt we'll be seeing their teammate a little bit later on, G4 Rotary. Rappy the Pro, the other of this ARS Racing Blue outfit in that Aston Martin. Another very, very strong car here. Front engine cars are looking quite good at the moment. What's that V12 up front, providing plenty of grunt on the straights. Amuda currently in the pits there, driving for Golden Bear Motorsport. Just sort of chilling at the moment. Those cars of GBM do have two different liveries. There's a yellow hat one that's just leaving the pits now, actually, of John Wandering. There he is. Good to see. Fantastic representation. Car 8 making their way through turn 1. And here is a G4 Rotary, the other of the Paradox machines. That Jaguar will have had limited testing compared to some of the other teams, so well, because of that car change, but we'll see how they do. They seem to have gained a fair bit more stability with the Jaguar over the Ferrari. The Ferrari very difficult to set up and be on pace as well. TSR Stig currently with the fastest time of everyone. This is just the practice warm-up session at the moment though. We have 90 minutes of racing here today, hence the endurance in the stream title. There are 5 endurance rounds throughout this championship, 3 sprint rounds of 45-minute length. And this is the first one to kick us off. Fantastic circuit as well, Nürburgring. Plenty of elevation, plenty of camber on some of the corners. You can carry a lot more speed than the angles would necessarily suggest. And we are getting qualifying underway here. It's a 5-minute quickfire shootout. We'll see how it goes. Roland instantly into the wall there. I think there was a slight glitch with the system for a moment. It's going to be Arama leading the cars out. Just going to be monitoring some of the chat that we've had so far. Hello to Swampy Gecko, one of the Quinners supporters here today. Sota in chat, nice to have you along from the GTMES group. Of course, normal co-commentator Mika. I'm not 100% sure whether he's managed to get in because of a limited amount of room that's being confirmed at the moment. We'll have to see how it goes. Be nice to have him joining with us, but if he can't, then fair enough. You've still got me, unfortunately, for all of you. Nice to have you in chat anyway, lad. John Wandering, saying he's part of the series, even though I mentioned that the grid is stacked. No, of course you are, and it's going to be fantastic to see you out on circuit as well. The ARS Racing Series themselves saying hello in chat. Good to see you there. As the cars shifting positions a little bit as they're on their outlaps. We're looking at around 2 laps that each of these guys are going to be getting. Don't know if anyone's deploying fuel burning strategies or not. It would seem that isn't the case with Joe. For these qualifying laps I'm going to get up all the data we can. Splurge being told to get on circuit for the qualifying session. Hello to Crazy John in chat, nice to have you along as well. And unfortunately Mika isn't able to join us for this stream. Maybe next time. Be sure to stay in chat. Though we're up to 10 viewers already as Joe makes his way down to turn 1 for the first time, leading out the pack. It's a 3.199 mile circuit if you watch the video on the ARS Racing Series channel. Little bit of info there. I believe it's 15 corners. Great weather as we said, so the tyres should be working very, very well. Making their way down towards the Dunlop hairpin. Corner which you can carry quite a bit of speed in with that camber. You can visibly see it. Now heading up again. Requires a lot of torque from the engine to get up here. It's the Schumacher S. Now making their way up to these 2 right angles. Again, very banked. You can carry a lot of speed through here. Joe maximising that exit. You can see how much curb he's using. Very stable and planted, I have to say as well, from the Mercedes. There you also see the BMW in the background of Fred. Those two have had a history of being rivals before. Will that rivalry continue in this series? We shall see. Joe rounding the final corner with 1:59 on the clock, 1:50. What's it going to be from Joe of Joe 2 guy rather? It's a 1:54.1. It's a 53.9. by Fred Dude instantly on his first lap. Fantastic stuff by them. Wybear crosses the line with a 55.1. That's enough for third at the moment. James with a 55.2. These guys very bunched up at the moment. That's quite surprising to see. I think Quinner's just set a time 55.0. That's enough for fifth. Lord Stigworth, TSR Stig, manages to get himself up to third place with a 154.3. James with a 155.2. There, Rotary with a 155.6. Still just trying to find his feet at the moment. There I mentioned the yellow accents on that Jaguar compared to the green of his teammate. Amuda with a 157.3 at the moment, but he's in a lot of clear air. That could work out in his favour. Rappy the Pro 157.4. John Wandering currently hasn't crossed the line yet. He's got quite a lot of clear air, it has to be said. Maybe he was a bit late coming out the pits. Pepega in chat is saying, Quinners, please have all 11 of my kids. You lot are completely insane. It's fantastic to have you along again. Couple cars still in the pits, Arama and Spludge. Not sure if they can be able to set times at this rate. The Joe 2 guy rounding the final corner yet again, 149 on the clock. Looking very close to his time before. 154s are predicted around this circuit. At the moment, no one quite as close to Fred. So around a 10th and a half in it, as you see. Fred the only one into the 53s. I did warn you about this, other teams. We'll see how the session develops. In fact, that is the end of the session because we've passed the 5-minute mark. So Joe not able to improve on his time. Fred looking pretty much set for that pole time. Swablu with a 154.7. Couldn't quite get it together like the teammate. Wake qualified 6th in the end. James 7th. Wybear 8th. He's actually got quite a lot of damage there as he's parked up. 9th for Rotary. 10th for Rappy the Pro. No improvement for Amuda, sees them in 11th. John Wander in 12th, their teammate. So into team rivalry, chalked that one up for Amuda. Splurge didn't complete a lap in the end, and neither did Arama. They're going to be starting at the back of the grid. But it is Fred Dude who has taken pole position in this inaugural qualifying session of the Sim Racing Federation ARS World GT Series here at Nürburgring. A fantastic result for them. We are now entering the break period. Just going to be hopefully giving you a track preview lap in this break period, just to break down the track a little bit more before we get into the race. Just confirming with the race director, although he's probably a little bit busy trying to mark up where everyone is and setting the grid and such. Let's just check to see what on earth is going on here. It's an absolute cluster of cars. It's turned into a bit of a demolition derby at the moment as they're just wading along. here is the live timing in the end of things then. As you can see, Fred the only one into the 53s with that 53.988. Joe, his rival from many different series, closest to him at 154.1. Stig, third in the Gojira Nissan, that was a 154.2. Extremely close at the top end of the field. And also the second grouping with Rappi, Arama and Amuda, that's looking quite competitive as well. I did mention these guys are a competitive field. The real life lap record, I believe, is a 154.6. So to see 4 cars shatter that is truly impressive. And I have been given the okay just to break down the track a little bit more with this onboard of a lap of the Nürburgring GP circuit as I exit the pits here. Normally I'd be having Mika do this, but I'm here since the lobby is full. Turn 1, a lot of elevation change, as you see, very easy to overcook it as you go through there, and the Mercedes Arena use as much curb as you dare. Track limits are normally 2 wheels on the curb and circuit, but you do see quite a lot of drivers running wide out of the Mercedes Arena. That has been permitted. Then through Valvoline and Ford, in a fantastic section as you plunge down the hill. Just taking it nice and smooth down towards the Dunlop hairpin. Keep it nice and tight through here. Wait till you can get on the throttle on exit. Again, use that curb. Don't use too much that you end up clipping the gravel though. That can slow you down on your run up the hill through the Schumacher S. We go there. And then braking just about the 100-meter marker, maybe slightly before. That's probably because I'm a wimp that I'm doing it slightly before. And then through here. Again, try and get a nice exit through the kink, and we're using the NGK chicane instead of the Vidal chicane for this particular layout. Vidal chicane, of course, used for the 24-hour layout. This is just the GP circuit, and then the final corner, Coca-Cola. We've seen a lot of people in practice clip that inside pit wall. Will anyone do it in this upcoming race? We'll have to see. And that is a lap pretty much broken down to the best of my ability of the Nürburgring GP circuit. Hope that gives some of the viewers a little bit of an insight. I should probably leave the circuit before I accidentally get in the race. And I do have a wheel, it's very difficult to access the keyboard and use the wheel at the same time. I am just the commentator. So it's just a bit easier for me this way. Let's get everything set up then. So the race start scheduled to happen in 6 minutes time. That would be 8:05 GMT, or BST rather, time zones. If you're enjoying the stream so far, we've just witnessed the qualifying session and that lap preview. Then be sure to leave a like, of course. Consider subscribing if new as well. We'll be bringing you the whole season this time of ARS on the channel. All 8 rounds. It's going to be a fantastic season. I honestly can't wait for more. In fact, I don't have to wait for more because we are getting closer and closer to the start of the first race of the season. It's going to be properly juicy indeed. Here we see Joe just going around the track, cruising just a little bit. Perhaps just getting a little bit of extra practice where he can. Everyone else just seems to be enjoying their break at the moment. If you don't want to subscribe, then you don't have to, John. It's okay. I'm not forcing anyone here. Through the Schumacher S, Joe goes. Slight weaving. Has he picked up damage from that? Let's just have a look. Yep, just a little bit. That would explain why he's going slower than normal. He's got full damage, and now he's just going for a damage lap. That'd be an interesting qualifying format. Completely damaged cars, see who's fastest, although, of course, that would be completely nonsense for a professional league like this. Looking forward to the start. Shouldn't be overly long to go. Gonna go through some of the notes again just to run you through how this championship works. So, points table, let me just quickly get that up on my phone. The points table, it is 21 points for taking first place, it's 18 for second, 15 for third, 12 points for fourth place, for fifth place you get 10, then 8 for sixth, 7th will get you 6, 8th will get you 4 points, 9th will get you 2 points, and 1 point for finishing 10th. 1 point for pole position, that's already gone the way of Fred Dude, and 1 point for fastest lap. As for success ballast, for finishing first, you'll get an extra 3% for the following race. Second will get you 2%, and third place will get you an extra 1%. There will be a ballast reset after round 4, so the halfway point of the season. All three, well, there's 3 different tyre compounds you can use in this race: the hards, the mediums, and the softs. The super softs are restricted, and that means that you also have to have a minimum of 5 laps in a stint on the tyres. Whether the mechanical damage happens, you still have to stay on the same tyres if you haven't completed those 5 laps. And a minimum of 2 different compounds must be used. So that is also interesting of note. We're about to get racing here at Nürburgring for the first race of the season. Thank you, Sota, for subscribing. I just got that notification. It is Fred Dude who has took pole position. As we mentioned, it is going to be the Joe 2 guy lining up alongside Stig in third, Roland fourth. Shout out to the Quinners fans in chat, of course. Swablu in 5th, Wake 6th, James in 7th, Widebear 8th, Rotary 9th, Rappy in 10th, Aram 11th, 12th is Amuda, 13th John Wandering, and Splurge is 14th. We've got a formation lap. 70 miles an hour is the speed limit here. We're not running super softs, don't worry. Here's evidence. Single file, because making their way down to turn 1. Important that you do keep the tyres as warm as you can, because cold tyres at the start, that's a very, very heavy braking zone down to turn 1, and with the elevation change we saw on the preview lap, very easy to make a mistake, to run wide. No doubt someone's going to run wide. I just hope it's as clean a start as possible so we don't have to have any safety cars or anything of that nature. Just hope everything stays as clean as possible. The M6 looking strong at the moment. There's a lot of competitive cars in the order. They make their lap time in slightly different ways. Fantastic to see the balance of performance doing what it's supposed to, leveling the playing field. Hello to Sam Brown in chat as well. Josh Quinn is champ 2020. We shall see. There's plenty of the season to go. We haven't even got past race 1. Haven't even got to the start finish as of yet. As you see, 48 laps. That is the calculated equivalent of 90 minutes of racing here at the Nürburgring GP circuit. No rain forecast for the entirety of it. Things looking very, very sunny indeed. Should be good for some juicy overtaking. Making their way through the final sector now. They will eventually have to slow down. There it is, 50 miles an hour, and they're forming up double file. Odds will be on the right. And as soon as the fastest lap marker comes up, that is going to be the trigger for the start of the race. Through the NGK chicane they come for the final time of this warm-up lap. Round the final corner they approach. Fred on the inside, Joe on the outside. What is going to happen? We look forward to racing here at Nürburgring GP circuit for round 1 of the ARS World GT Series. It is green, 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 and the cars are off, and immediately you see the field spread out. Fred instantly taking that position into the lead, but look at this, the battle for second. Stig looking to the outside line. Looks like Joe will just about hold on to that. A little bit of oversteer from Joe though. And in fact, Quinn is also looking a bit racy. 3 wide as they make their way through the Mercedes arena. Roland down the inside. Will he be able to get it stopped? I think he might have took the position away from Stig. Has to just about leave enough room there. And that is Quinn is up into 3rd position. A fantastic start by them. A bit further back, the other Mercedes making a bit of ground. Swablu there, Wake in 6th. Rafi 7th. Rotary in 8th at this stage as they plunge down the hill towards the Dunlop hairpin. Fred with a 7/10 gap. Hasn't managed to break the slipstream, but as they were squabbling a bit further back, they managed to get that gap. Does anyone make any mistakes? Looks like everyone has managed to have a very clean start. Fantastic to see. Fantastic seeing Motorsport back again. You see Splurge also getting a bit dicey with Arama. Arama to 9th, Splurge 10th. Remember, Splurge didn't actually set a qualifying time, if I recall. So they're doing quite well to move up the order, as is Arama, to be fair. I think we do have one a little bit further back. I think that might be John wandering. Fred Dude's still with that lead. Joe managing to stay with them though as they make their way to complete lap 1. Gonna go for a rear wing cam here on Fred Dude's car just to see how much the Mercedes can close up in the slipstream. Oh, Roland thinking of a little bit of a move. There's a cone in the middle of the road there, so evidently some did go wide at turn 1 as I predicted. Getting very close to the edge of track limits there was Joe also. Very easy to make mistakes. There are penalties on already. Here you see the exit of the Mercedes arena, a place where a lot of people do track extend. It is allowed. I did check with series organizer Hagee, who's also a race director for the series. There's a 1 second gap now between Joe and Fred. Quinn is right on the back of that Mercedes though, as they're making their way down towards the Dunlop hairpin. Let's have a look a little bit further down the field, see if there's any dicey action happening at the moment. Wybear, not the best start by them. They're down to 12 at the moment. Perhaps they were involved in an incident earlier on. They haven't got damage. As the Muda just clips the gravel a little bit. I think the battle for second is possibly one of the closer ones at the moment. Although everyone's starting to spread out a little bit. It is a 90-minute race, of course, so mainly people just starting to settle into their rhythm. A little bit of airtime there over the curb as Joe managed to get the chicane wrong, and that has allowed Quinners up into second place. Let's have a look at this. What happened to Joe? Did he just take a bit too much curb? Unsettle the car perhaps? We're about to see. Oh no, it just sort of snapped on him. And that allowed Roland to get a fantastic run and take that second place. And now look how close it is. Quinn is challenging for the lead of the race, making the way through the Mercedes arena again. The fans in chat are going absolutely crazy already. Still Fred currently leading these guys. Gonna go on board with TSR Stig, Lord Stigworth, making their way through Valvoline and through Ford. Great sequence of corners this. The GTR still has a little bit of an advantage on the straights, but it isn't as overpowered as before. Of course, made up with a little bit of a handling improvement. Quinners goes a little bit wide, perhaps just looking for a late apex. And the top six seem to have broken away from the rest of the pack. Rotary leading the rest of them as we see side-by-side action between the Arrows Racing blue cars. Raffy and James going at it. Raffy just clipping the gravel, and look at that! Switching and all over the place. James down the inside. I think James just about managed to get that one done. Great racing between those guys. Wybear's also managed to get up to 10th, so they're starting to recover. In fact, Wybear looking to get a bit of a run on Raffy. All over the grass, trying to make the move work. They're on the outside line.com for the chicane. Oh, look how close it is. Launching themselves over the chicane. There was Raffy, manages to hold on to the position. On the straight again, just monitoring everyone. It seems things are staying the same at the moment. As that cone goes flying, I was waiting for someone to knock that free. So Quinners clearly has the pace at this stage in the race. Fred's still going well at the front though. James managing to catch Rotary. Got to monitor that one. There's so much that we have to check on. It's absolutely fantastic. Wybear still trying to chase down Raffy as well. Splurge in 11. Be trying to catch up as well as they get held up a little bit. It looks like that BMW is very, very close. Perhaps might be lining for move into the braking zone here if you can. Nope, thinks better of it. Back to the other BMW. Still being chased down by the Arrows Racing Team machine in the bright orange in the mirrors of Fred Dude's car. Purple in that sector. That's the sector 3 marker. Of course, they did manage to get into the 53.9s. We'll see if they can match that in the race. They're already getting close. They have the fastest lap at the moment with a 154.1. Things getting a bit juicy back here, I think. Yep, Wybear has managed to get past Raffy, but not for long. Raffy managing to get back ahead, or have they? Still side by side they run as James goes, Splurge rather, goes into the pits. Do they have damage? Yep, they have damage. Perhaps they're going to have to incorporate this in their strategy as well. Yep, they're changing tyres. They've got to use 2 different compounds. Will they get their medium stint out of the way? Nope, they go for another set of softs. They rejoin in 13th. Side by side, they still run. Through the Mercedes arena they go. Wayber trying his best to keep that position round the outside, still running wide on the marbles. Will be the inside for the next section. How are these guys still side by side? I have no idea. It looks like Rappy just about manages to find his way ahead again. Oh, look how close they are. A little bit of scrolling over the curb. I went round the outside. Look at that. Unbelievable scenes. I think there's another battle up ahead for 8th. And the cutback, Wayber gets that done excellently there. And here, now we see the battle for 8th and 7th. Rotary and James. James looking to set it up down the inside of the Jaguar. Good amounts of racing room left between the two of them. Everyone has stayed in the same positions towards the front of the field though at the moment. Seems that James has managed to get that inside line. It'll be the outside for the chicane. Can they outbrake them? No. It switches to the inside. Very interesting racecraft there. Side by side through the chicane. A little bit of contact. That forced James wide. That would be a racing incident, I believe. He's going to have to build that momentum back up again, I think. As Wayber is starting to pull a little bit clear. Fred still currently in the lead of the race. If anything, he's managing to pull a bit of a gap. 1 second now, the gap, as Roland falling back a little bit into the clutches of Joe. We'll see how that develops. 1.2 seconds the gap. See how wide some of the guys run through there. All perfectly legal. Where's the other commentator? Asks Sam Brown in chat. Unfortunately, there isn't enough lobby space for him on this occasion. We have that packed of a grid for round 1. Hopefully he will be back for future rounds though, if there is space in the lobby there. Of course. Big ups to Mika. He should still be in chat, I believe. Plenty of TSR cars here. 3rd through 6th is made up of them. Mercedes and Nissan's their choice. Joe currently the highest ranked of all of them in 3rd place. Are we still seeing some dicing? In fact, James has managed to get ahead of Rotary. Let's see. It might have happened a bit earlier on. My apologies for slightly missing that. There is a lot to keep track of. If James manages to get past, will the Jaguar be able to stick with them? Or perhaps will they start working together in order to catch the ones ahead? It would seem unlikely as Rotary gets a fantastic run through the chicane. James brakes late enough to cover the apex. Gets himself ahead. Will they be able to challenge going down to turn 1 though? We're seeing Rotary. He does manage to find his way down the inside as he outbroke himself. The switchback from James. The racecraft from James. I think he just manages to get himself ahead again. So Rotary runs very wide there. That might be an in-game penalty unless he lifted off. It's just cutting back into the dirty air. It can have an effect like that. And very wide again. So that Jaguar shouldn't be struggling on its tyres too much yet. He's running a little bit uncomfortably at the moment. 2 seconds now the gap between Fred and Roland. So it is starting to increase. And Roland has managed to keep Joe at bay. He's also increased that gap to nearly an entire second. 9/10 now. Mercedes has a bit of a top speed advantage over the Porsche. Hence you're able to see it close up through the Schumacher S, the uphill section. Also, still in the slipstream range, gotta remember that. Roland now out of that slipstream range, and that is allowing Fred to pull away further. as there was a little bit of a slide by one of the cars. Now it might have been a Muda making the way through Ford. Let's see what happened. Just clipping the gravel. Now without that slipstream, will Joe start catching again? 6/10 the gap. Going on board with the Simpact driver. Here we go through the Mercedes arena, where it should favour the Mercedes, you would think, by name. Could actually end up favouring the mid-engine Porsche. Handles very slightly differently with that. Keeps it nice and tidy on exit. The top six still got a gap. James currently 7th. He's managed to pull a gap over Rotary. Wybear looking like he's starting to close up on the Brit. Oh, look how close the BMW managed to get under braking there, nearly pushing him through the corner. Unbelievable scenes. Now, will they set something up here? Rotary very good on the brakes. Supercharged is that Jaguar. Got a good amount of grunt to it. A bit of gravel being kicked up there by the BMW. I think, yep, getting very close again for the battle for second. Gonna have to keep switching between these. I think Rotary should be safe for a little while. Wyback closes up a bit again through the chicane. And, oh, very nearly. Definitely thought about sending it there. Didn't work out for them in the end. The gap continues to increase at the front. Roland Quinners, as he is known, of course, going for a rear wing cam on the Porsche. Here you see not only Joe but also Stig managing to stick with this group. Very good driving by Stig in that GTR. Does have its straight line hampered. Better in the corners, as I mentioned. And in fact it looks like, if anything, Stig is catching Joe, as I think we've had an overtake a bit further down the order. Let's see what it was. I think it was Wake and Swablu that swapped positions. Was it? I definitely saw something on the graphic. In fact, I think it was Wybear, my apologies. So Wybear manages to get past Rotary. Let's see what happened here. Rotary just left the door open, overcooked it a little bit, and through the Mercedes arena. Wybear up to the front page of the timing sheet. Stig's still catching in that GTR. Doing a very, very good job at the moment. Also, to note, the battle for 5th still definitely on between Wake and Swablu. All the TSR guys, although teammates, very, very competitive with one another, has to be said. They definitely want this. Making the way down through turn 1. The torque of the Nissan, actually the second highest of all Group 3 cars, only to the Chevrolet Corvette, which isn't in this series. So can be a bit of a handful when you step on the gas. All the more reason to be impressed by the skill of these drivers. just noticed the fastest lap of the race by Fred, 1:53.8. That's even faster than their qualifying time. Absolutely on fire at the moment. Fred of the Fire confirmed. Oh, that's an odd joke. Wait, setting up that late apex AC, very late into the corner. Good exit by them. Let's have a look a bit further down the order. Here we're now seeing Arama being challenged by Rappi. So the Flying Dutchman and the Italian going at it, making their way through Ford. A lot more confident over the curbs out of that corner was Arama. Down through Dunlop. Interesting to see both British manufacturers here, Jaguar and of course Aston Martin, doing well enough. Good battle between them as Amuda moves up to 13th place. Let's have a look at what happened here. Battle with their teammate, I believe, John Wandering. Here it is. I believe it was through Valvoline. Yep. John brakes early to avoid hitting their teammate, and through goes Amuda, fellow American there. Good battle going on between the two of them. Fred still extending that gap. Settled into their stint. Quinners in second. I was told that he was going to change his gamer tag by source to ART Quinners. That hasn't happened as of yet. R94 still doing an extremely good job though. Lap 12 of 48 here at the Nürburgring GP circuit. We have completed a quarter of the race distance. Making the way through the Schumacher house again. Dirty air will be having an effect through there, and we've also got to take into account at this stage the tyre strategies for these cars. You can see here on the Joe 2 guy's machine that Mercedes, hell, the wear is playing up for him. It's wearing not too bad by 12 lap standards. Also got to take into account the fuel as Roland goes into the pits. So they're hoping for a bit of an undercut here, probably trying to catch up to Fred, try and catch him out. We're going to see this pit stop. Will they get their medium stint out the way? I doubt it. I think they'd leave that for a later stint. Never mind, because of the commentator, they're on their mediums. So that possibly, if the group behind them of Joe and Stig managed to set some good laps here and start working together, which they are A and B teammates in this, then perhaps we could see an overcut working for them. Roland rejoining in 5th, of course. Oh, I say working together. Stig has managed to find his way alongside, just about going into Dunlop. Stig manages to get the move to stick. Fantastic move there by Lord Stigworth, moving his GTR up into 2nd place. Net 2nd place at the moment. GTR is looking very good on its tyres, actually. Compare it to the Mercedes, that is really impressive stuff by Stig. He must have been saving his tyres early on in this stint, and now he's decided to go on attack. As we're hearing that Arama may have retired from the race. If that's the case, that's extremely unfortunate. It is the case. So we have our first retirement, the Jaguar of Arama, belonging to Paradox. Oh, a bit of dicing going on here between James and Swablu. So James also doing a good job here. They're moving up the order. Oh, running a little bit wide. Had to leave the space, hoping to get a better exit onto the straight. They also seem to be one that saved their tyres a fair bit. Defensive goes the Mercedes. Who's gonna be able to make it work through here? James tries to set up a bit of a switchback. Doesn't quite work out at this stage. Still a lot of the complex to go. It looks like he's going to have to slot behind for now, though he's looking very, very intimidating indeed in the mirrors of Swablu. Swablu made a pit stop. That would explain why they fell back a little bit. So perhaps it was Swablu getting ahead of James rather than the other way around. They're on a set of softs. Interestingly, I don't think they added much fuel. So hoping to keep the car nice and light. Should improve the handling. That Nissan is looking very, very strong now. Look at that, 1.8 seconds, 1.9 seconds between Stig and Joe. Joe has had to revert to a slightly different setup philosophy, his older one, and now it seems that he's struggling a little bit for tyre wear compared to some of the others. Certainly compared to Wake, who's now catching up. That Nissan in the slipstream. We're going to see what it can do. Here is the miles per hour statistic at the bottom of the screen. 156 it just tapped on, and braking for turn 1. Again, you can monitor the throttle inputs here. Joe takes a slightly different line, looking for that better exit through this part. It does seem that Joe is struggling a lot more than usual, which is very uncharacteristic of him. Gonna just monitor the order again. So Fred has a around 6-second gap. They're yet to pit. Stig second, also yet to pit. Joe and Wake yet to pit as well. Roland is the top of the ones that have pitted, and interestingly enough being caught by Swablu, who's on the soft compounder tyres compared to the mediums of winners. And he's starting to catch up, so Swablu's strategy could work out quite nicely for him. Oh, look how much they're gaining on that softer compound. Gonna go for a rear wing cam here on the Quinner's machine, the Arrows Racing Team Porsche. As Joe finally bails for the pits, realizing his tyres were pretty much past their best. We're gonna have to see where they rejoin the circuit at. They're fueling up quite a lot. This is interesting. So they're going to be in clear air, just about. But they've dropped back behind Wybear. Oh, Rappy's wheel disconnected apparently. And we're having a full course caution here. Full course caution. Here we're seeing the leader has to drop to 70 miles an hour, and that is not really going to pay off for Fred. That lead that he built up going away from him. believe they're not allowed to pit at this stage. I could be mistaken. I'm sure the race director will clarify that for the drivers. But here it is, full course caution, the first of the race. Rappy, here they are, going into the pits. Heavy, heavy damage. Oh, it would seem that it must have happened at the Dunlop hairpin then, if they just went through pause there. Apologies that we just missed that. Into the pits they go. I think they will still be able to just about keep on the lead lap. I think lap cars are allowed to gain their laps back as well, so it shouldn't be much of an issue. Here you see the field bunching up again. Well, the ones that have managed to make their pit stop already are in a good position. Through Coca-Cola they approach. Fred Dude still in the lead at the moment. Was that a bit of overtaking I'm seeing? Alright, that's cars diving into the pit lane. Swablu, Splurge and Wybear, so clearly pitting is allowed under this stage. Of course they'll be rejoining at the back. I believe we're going to have this lap and possibly one more depending on where the other guys are on circuit. Rappy currently the back at the moment. They've made their pit stop. They're onto the hard compound, which is interesting. Looking for a very long stint here. They're fueled up for it, that's for sure. And dependent on how long it takes them to catch up, we might see an extra lap after this one for the pack. We might not. The pits are open. It might be an idea for Rappy, now that he's... well, actually no, I'm not sure if he's completed his 5 laps on this stint. I'm just gonna quickly see if I can get it up here. Nope, he pitted on lap 14, so he won't be able to change off of those tyres. If he did his 5 laps, then it would be a good opportunity to get that out of the way. Amuda now goes into last place after making their pit stop. They're onto the softs. The leaders coming up through the Schumacher ARS. They're in sector 3 at the moment. So just a rundown of the order at the moment. Fred Dude is in the lead of the race. Stig in 2nd. Wake 3rd. Roland 4th. Joe 5th. James 6th. Rotary in 7th in that Jaguar. Splurge 8th. 9th is Swablu, who was at the sharp end of the field not too long ago. Wybear in 10th. 11th is John Wandering. Rappy in 12th and Amuda in 13th. These guys going through Dunlop, heading up towards the Schumacher ARS. The others at the NGK chicane, so we're going to have at least one more lap here. Stig and Fred both going into the pits. So these guys are going to be rejoining towards the back. Of course they will need to run a different compound at some point. Maybe that's what they're planning on doing. We'll have to see how things work out for them. Stig joins ahead of Fred. So Fred will be out in 10th, Stig 9th. John wandering into the pits. That's going to drop them down, unless they get out quite quickly, to the back of the grid. They're now onto a soft compound, and they were on the mediums there, so they may have completed their 5-lap stint. If so, that's worked out quite well for John Wandering. These guys coming through Ford. Wake currently at front of the field then. Tyres are wearing a little bit. These guys still have to keep them to temperature, remember, but that is affecting the tyre wear very slightly. Time to go through chat just a little bit. Connor Ryoden, I probably mispronounced that to absolute death, but I do apologise. Welcome to the chat, as is Quinners Fan TV. And Kieran Keane, again probably mispronounced. Apologies. Not that good with different dialects of name. And LDJ Italy, I assume that's ITA. Also, welcome. You're cheering on Rappi, and given Rappi is Italian, that would make sense. Restart happening this lap. The leader will decide anywhere between the pit entry and the timing line when to go, so as soon as they get out of the final corner they can technically go. It's to do with the pit wall, I believe. Well, it says the pit entry, so we'll see how it goes. Anyway, we're going to be monitoring Wake here as he gets the restart underway. Oh, look at that field. That's going to be fantastic for some photography later on. Should be able to get a juicy thumbnail out of that. Here we go, the weaving's still occurring at the moment for the Nissan. Everyone else seems to have stopped. Through the final corner they go. Oh, a little bit of a slip. Roland very nearly oversteering off, and we are green once again here at Nürburgring. The field already starting to fan out a little bit towards the back. Joe all over the back of Quinners. He's going to try and outbrake him. Is he? Quinners going to have to try and get the cutback. Joe runs wide. Quinners oversteers. And Joe just about manages to get that move to stick. A bit further down the order, Rotato in 5th. Splurge 6th. Swablu sliding, they're in 7th. Look at this, the two BMWs going at it, and Rappi involved as well. Amuda down the inside, a bit of contact there. Look at this, unbelievable racing, and I think the BMWs have managed to just about get by. Noah Amuda is still there on what will be the inside for the upcoming corner. Might just a slot ahead of Fred, so halting Fred's progress for now. Good start there by Amuda then. And looks like they might be getting a bit of a run on Wybear, are they? Wybear in turn getting a bit of a run on Rappi. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Rappi goes wide. That one's probably one for the stewards, losing 3 positions from that, and possibly 4 as John Wandering also looks to get involved in the scrap, making their way up the hill. Rappi side by side with Fred. Has to back out of it in the end, I think. This guy's extremely competitive. Oh, look at that! Going wide, one of the BMWs there of, I believe that was Wybear. Rappi off into the gravel slightly. It's going to hamper their run. It's so difficult to monitor everything. There's probably stuff going off at the front end of the field as well. There's 3 cars bunched together a bit up there. Wake still leads. Joe 2nd. Roland 3rd. Oh! And that was contact there. Stig has gone off. We're going to have to monitor this. What happened here then, lads? This complete chaos. Contact with them and John Wandering initially. Then in the braking zone, John Wandering sort of gets him back a little bit. I'm sure it wasn't intentional. Stig does get that place back from them though. Wybear more than likely with damage. They're in the pits. They've now out the pits. Joe in the lead of the race. So what happened here? It might have been at turn 1. So much has been going off. It's so difficult to keep track. I'm so sorry. Joe into the lead of the race. On the racing softs. Very fresh racing softs as well. Wake in second. Can act as a bit of a rear gunner perhaps. To keep Roland behind. They are still due a pit stop themselves. Running a little bit deep here. Roland. They're on the mediums, remember. Well, that's splurge rather. Misclick there. Oh, Roland on the mediums as well, so doesn't matter. James in the Aston Martin for ARS Racing Blue also in the mix as well. So that safety car period, that full course caution has really shaken up the order of things here at Nürburgring. Seeing plenty of juicy action. I think perhaps a little bit back. Stig and Rappi going at it. Here we're seeing the move down the inside. Very committed there by the Nissan. Leaves the space on the outside for the Aston Martin. Very, very respectful and sportsmanlike from Lord Stigworth. Joe's starting to build a little bit of a gap. Wake coming under pressure from Roland, interestingly enough. So the orange versus the yellow machine. So much going off. Just look at the track map. Absolute insanity going off up and down the order. Bit of dust being kicked up there by Joe's car, I think. Running a bit wide there was Wake. That Porsche is looking very, very quick, even though it's on the mediums at the moment. There's a gap. Quinners surely will be able to take it. No, the GDR manages to get ahead again. That extra torque. Looking to the outside line.com as Wake has to go defensive. Bit of a cutback. Oh, very, very close stuff. A bit of a snake there as they exit the corner. Tank slapper rather. Slithering all about either way. This is allowing James to catch up as well. It's also allowing Joe to escape up the road a little bit. Doing a Fred. Speaking of Fred, I think they've made an overtake, have they? Yep, there's them and Rotary. Round the outside, was it? Oh. They were signalling there, Rotary, so I think they just let them by. There's something up with the Jaguar of Rotary. No, they're on the mediums. Perhaps they just decided to let Fred go. It wasn't worth battling them because they would lose time themselves. It is an endurance race, remember. 90 minutes as scheduled. We're approaching the halfway point of that relatively soon. In around 30 seconds or so. That period under the safety car, that full course caution, did take a bit of the time out, but those laps are still going to be counted, so it's going to run a bit over that. Wake still having to defend for all they're worth. Makes a little bit of a mistake, runs a bit wide there. Look at this. Quinners, can they outbrake him around the outside? They can. That puts the Porsche up into second place. Now will the other ARS car of ARS Racing Blue, James, be able to make a move on Wake? One overtake can quickly lead to another. Looks like Wake manages to hold on for now. Those tyres are probably getting a bit cooked. Never mind. Look at that. James manages to get down the inside. Side by side through the Schumi S. The grunt of the Nissan manages to get it ahead again. Gonna go on board here with the Aston Martin. You can see how much the Nissan's struggling on its tyres. Oh, definitely thought about it there. The Nissan just on the better racing line. It's pulling away a little bit on the straight. I think it should be safe for now, unless something drastic happens. which I don't think it is at the moment. Here's another battle. Swablu, Fred. Oh, Fred makes a mistake in traffic. They've actually got front aero damage. Rappy has had an off again, it would seem. With Fred up to 6th at the moment, and Splurge coming under a bit of pressure from Swablu. Both of them on the mediums at the moment. We're having another full course caution here. This is going to only further spice things up. Full course caution, the leader has to drop to that 70 miles an hour. There it is. Everyone gets to bunch back up. How's this going to work with pit strategies? Who knows? Who honestly can tell? It was Rappy that had the incident. Let's see what happened. John Wandering runs into the back of him. Pits are open, confirmed by race director, and there you see. That was the incident. We managed to catch that one. Now, some of these that have done their 5 laps allocated on the other compound should perhaps consider pitting. Unfortunately, in Roland's case, this will not. I don't think they will be able to pit because they've currently done 3, I think 3 or 4, but it needs to be 5, so that's stopping them from switching off the mediums. Now James is an interesting case. That's either 4 or 5. They might be able to. Splurge should... oh, apologies. Swablu definitely can, if they want, based on the graphics here. If they want to get off those mediums. Let's see who does bail for the pits. Swablu stays out, interestingly enough. They're quite happy on their compound. Perhaps going for track position here. The majority of the field goes into the pits. Swablu the only one that seems to have stayed out. Wybear and Wake as well, though. Wait, Wake? Oh, they did go in for tyres then, so Wake is on a fresh set after they were passed. So it's going to be Swablu leading the pack at the moment. John Wandering manages to get up to what will be net 4th, I believe. All depends on where everyone slots in. I think they should be able to just join the back of the train. Although I think John is a lap down, is he? He's in 9th. No, he's on the lead lap. So all a little bit of confusion here in this second full course caution. Didn't happen overly long after the first one. In fact, John Wandering has rear aero damage. Should perhaps have considered going into the pits to repair that, unless that happened in the Mercedes arena or somewhere. A bit of contact. Let's see. Nothing on Splurge's end, so normally combining front aero damage with rear aero damage sums up an incident. Detective work, but not in this case. We're at the halfway point in this race, lap 24 of 48. Hope you're enjoying the stream so far. If you are, again, consider subscribing, leaving a like if you like. So much action, it's difficult to keep track of it all. What we know at the moment, Amuda is currently in the lead of things. Additional contact under caution equals an extra lap. So that might be due to what happened to John Wandering with that rear aero damage. but Swablu as well. I thought Swablu were in the lead at that, unless Amuda managed to get out the pits faster than them or something. I'm just going off of what I'm seeing here, and at the moment Amuda is in the lead of this race under full course caution. We're going to have an extra lap here to allow the ones that do have damage to pit again. That's Y-Bear going into the pits. So did they have damage? Yep, that's the front aero. Ah, perhaps it was them that collided with Joe Mundering or something under the full course caution, because that would be the front aero and rear aero summed up. They changed tyres. Fred rejoins in 11th. They're on the racing softs at the moment. Remember, everyone does still have to have their stint of minimum 5 laps on a different compound. Again, difficult for me to keep track of that. There will probably be a post-race investigation just to make sure everyone did that. I bet Amuda wasn't thinking they'd be in this position today. Currently in the lead of things, Joe in second. Their teammate for Simpact AMG in third, that is Swablu. The best of the ARS cars, ARS Racing Blue James. They are in fourth in that Aston Martin. Fifth place is TSR Wake, best of the Gojira Simpact Nissans. Restart this lap, leader decides again, the pit and timing line, entry between that, no overtaking before the timing line. Quinners in 6th for what will be the restart. Splurge, their teammate in the Arrows Racing Team main alliance, the Orange Machines, Eneos Motor Oil sponsored. 93 and 94. They are 6th and 7th. Stig, who was very much at the sharp end not too long ago, they are down in 8th at the moment. All of this full course cautions has really shaken up the order. Rotary in 9th. I think that was around about where they were before all of the chaos happened. 10th is Rappy the Pro. Been through the wars a lot this race. They were the cause of the two, or the caller rather, of the two full course cautions. Of course, we saw the second of those. The first one will probably be under review after the race. Fred in 11th, John Wander in 12th, Y-Bear in 13th, so the BMW is really not in a good position at the moment. We'll see how it continues to develop here. As Amuda leads them off, they haven't gone yet, I believe. They are gone now. We are green again here at Nürburgring. I think there was an overtake. There is a bit of overtaking. Not sure if it was before the timing line or after. Here we see Amuda down to turn 1. Will they be able to hold on to it? They brake just a little bit late. That's going to allow Joe to go through, I think. Swablu a bit steady as well. Yep, Joe does manage to slot into the lead. Oh, the Lexus really slidey. Ends up going wide. And in fact, looking there, Rotary challenging Rappy as Splurge is in 6th at the moment. We're having lots of course of vehicle damage again. We're probably going to have another full course caution. It hasn't been called a full course caution yet, but everyone has dropped 70 miles an hour anyway, I think. It hasn't been called by the race director, I think, yet. It's not been said in chat, unless it was just people saying VC or VD for vehicle damage. I am very much confused by this at the moment, but nevertheless, it would seem that we're back under a full course caution. Everyone doing 70. It was said right after the start. Ah, okay, thanks for clarifying that, Sota. Much appreciated. I do miss quite a few things. I do apologise again. It's going to be a long night, lads. Let's hope we can have a clean restart this upcoming time around. As something on my desk goes flying. It's currently 9:01 BST. We are on lap 26 of 48 here at the Nürburgring. Still very sunny conditions, no chance of rain because Polyphony hasn't added it to this circuit. It is a Simpact AMG 1-2. Joe leads Swablu. They're both going into the pits. So that's going to drop them right to the back of the order. I think, yes, Swablu was on his mediums, so he's possibly done with his stint. Oh, definitely done with his stint. He was one of the ones that picked up damage. Oh, James picked up damage there. Oh dear. As soon as they go into the pits, the game completely freaks out with the order. So pressing the right button is a difficulty. Swablu will rejoin in 10th position, behind the legend himself, Quinners, who is in 9th. It seems that he only repaired his damage, he didn't change tyres. Oh wait, no, he did change tyres, so he's opting to go on another set of mediums. That's an interesting call. Who are you going to call? Team Simpact. And through all of that, Amuda has got back into the lead of the race. Fantastic scenes here. Car 54. Benefiting by these full course cautions. Although I'm sure it's not an intentional Crashgate style fiasco. All of this down to chance. Nevertheless, they find themselves in this position. They can officially say they have led laps in this championship. Fantastic to see the Lexus driver doing well. These guys are getting really close here. Is it just the camera? Possibly just the camera. We're going to have to be very careful again on this restart. A lot of guys on the softs towards the front. Bear has managed to benefit massively, as has Fred. Remember, the last full course caution we saw at the start of all that happened, these guys were down towards the back of the field, like outside the top 10 even. So this has really benefited the BMW by Nukeshot Starscream cars. If anything, it's harmed the Simpact cars the most. Highest of those is Joe, he's down in 7th. He's on a fresh set of mediums, so we'll be looking to do that 5-lap stint. Probably extend it more. Can extend it if needed, just to fit the strategy a bit better. Amuda will be getting us underway again. Still weaving just a bit. Rappi in 2nd for Arrows Racing Blue. Rotary 3rd. Still weaving is Amuda. They've stopped now, and they have guessed it. It is green once again here at Nürburgring. Amuda, will they avoid outbraking themselves this time? We shall see. Look at this from Rotary. They're challenging 3 wide here. Look at this, and Joe, sneaky Joe, manages to find his way up the inside. Fantastic move there. He's found his way up to 4th from 7th after 1 corner. Passing rival Fred Dude in the process. Unbelievable scenes. I think Swablu's also managed to dice up with the different positions. He's in 9th at the moment, challenging both the ART cars, the Porsches. and also James in the Aston Martin for ARS Racing Blue in the mix as well. Amuda still in the lead of this race. Rafi second, and Rotary has dropped back. What happened there with Rotary? Just not wanting to get involved or something. That was really strange on the part of the Jaguar. Joe will be trying to find his way ahead of the guys ahead of him, obviously. He's on the mediums. Has to be said, Joe is probably the most experienced of those three. However, the two ahead of him do have track position, of course. We'll have to see how it goes. And he does have a very angry Fred dude right behind him, chasing him down. Look how close they're getting. Hopefully they stay nice and clean as they make their way through to the NGK chicane. Oh, side by side for the lead. Fair enough. Fair enough indeed between Rappi and Amuda. Now making their way through Coca-Cola. Amuda makes a slight mistake, leaves the door open. Rappi just about gets alongside. Going to be a straight line battle between the Lexus and the Aston Martin. Look at this. Unbelievable scenes. Darting and ducking in the slipstream goes Joe. Look at this from Joe down the middle. Does he get it stopped? He just about does. He holds on to it. Joe up into first place again. I can't speak. Fantastic move there. Darting and ducking in the slipstream. That's one for a highlight reel if someone's making those. Now look, Rappi having to still fend off Amuda as Fred drops on the... Oh, look at this! What on earth is going on? Splurge is up to third. Splurge is going up to second nearly. Where were they? Where did they come from? Fantastic restart by them. This is absolute chaos. I have no idea how to keep track of this. This is amazing. Rotary challenging Fred dude down the inside nearly. Fred challenges again on Amuda. Down the inside they go, up to fourth. So Amuda is starting to fall down the order a little bit. Rappi managing to hold his own. He's in second still. Joe's starting to escape up the road just a little bit again. We're on lap 29 of 48 and things have really started heating up here. Absolute unbelievable scenes. Joe with a 1.8 second gap as side by side for second place nearly between two of the Arrows cars. As I believe, was that another full course? Yep, full course caution called again. 70 miles an hour for everyone, and the chaos is brought back down to earth for a brief moment. We've passed 100 comments on this stream. Fantastic to see. Quinners went off apparently. We're hearing from our sources. Yep. We're gonna see if we can catch anything. No, unfortunately we can't. I missed it. There was so much going off again. But engine damage nevertheless, and suspension, aero, the works for Quinners. They're gonna have to settle for rejoining at the back of the field here. I think Stig also picked up damage. They certainly came into the pits there. Yep. And Rotary, did they get anything? No, Rotary was fine. So my guess was it was a collision between those two, Quinners and Lord Stigworth. Restart this lap we're hearing, assuming everyone is clean. Joe now in the lead for one of these restarts. Rappi second. Splurge third. Now Splurge could be one to watch here on this restart. He's on the softs, which I believe is better than what Joe's on the mediums at the moment. He's on less fuel. He should be very, very quick off this start. That's definitely the one to watch for me at least. Fred in fourth. He still somehow managed to conserve position a little bit. Amuda fifth. Wyber in 6th, 7th is Swablu at the minute. That's quite a tongue twister. Ah, we're hearing it was the Schumacher S. Thanks, Sota, for getting that. You must have been monitoring the track map on stream or something. Or you're just psychic. Could definitely use with you as a member of staff. Thanks again for your help. Wake in 8th. John Wander in 9th. You can see how scratched up the back of that Lexus is, the yellow hat car. Again, been through the walls a bit. Rotary 10th, James 11th, 12th is Stig, Roland 13th. Joe will be leading these guys off as they make their way across the pit entry line. Not quite past the pit wall yet. Gonna monitor the telemetry here, and he's gone right on the exit of the corner. We are green once again here at Nürburgring. So much green, anyone would think it was a Nukeshot livery. Making their way down towards turn 1. Splurge, oh, very nearly runs into the back of Rappi. Manages to hold on to it though. Amuda challenging Fred there. As we're also seeing Swablu move up the order. Swablu to 6th. Hanging Wyber out to dry on the outside. Wyber still trying to stick with him. Brave stuff indeed from the Indonesian driver. Has to slot in the end. Oh, that was a lot of a corner cut there. I don't 100% know whether that will be an in-game penalty or not. Seems like it was okay. Must have been on the limit. Grinners, they just briefly up into 11th as I switched to the wrong camera. Joe with a 1 second gap. Splurge to 2nd. Rappi 3rd. Fred 4th. Rappi a little twitch as they made their way out of the Dunlop hairpin. Through the Schumi S we go once again. Look at the run that Fred's got. Oh, switches lanes. He's going to try and outbrake him here. Oh, contact between the two of them. That's probably one to check on boards of. Looks like Rappi has managed to take the position back again anyway. Now look, that's allowed Amuda to come up alongside Fred, dude. Unbelievable things. Amuda now up into 4th. They're going to try and go down the inside for 3rd. Look at this. Fantastic bravery by Amuda. Side by side, Rappi has to cut the chicane. That was definitely all 4 wheels off there. Relinquishes the position just about. Oh, Pinball McGee as they made their way through Coca-Cola. There's a bit of damage now on Rappi's car. Is there damage on Fred's? Yep. There's probably going to be another full course caution at this rate. Joe and Splurge managing to stick together. Splurge, as I mentioned, very pacey at this stage. Yep, we're having plenty of calls for vehicle damage, unfortunately. Yep, there it is, full course caution. For what must be the 52nd time in this race, we have gone to full course caution here at the Nürburgring GP circuit. The cars will continue to bunch up again. Some will have to make pit stops. We're going to go through the order here just to see who has damage, who hasn't. Joe is fine. Splurge is fine. Amuda's okay. Rappi isn't. Rappi, with the collisions with Pinball McGee, as I mentioned earlier, seeming to have picked up damage there. Fred also, front and rear aero damage. They're going to have to make a pit stop for that. That's unfortunate for them. Front aero damage for Swablu. They might want to continue with that, as it's potentially drivable. Very potentially. Wyber, they are in 7th. They haven't got any damage. Stig managed to avoid damage on this occasion. Rotary also. Quinners again has picked up damage. Getting really unlucky with these restarts. We're hearing single file, but these guys are really spread out. This is very bizarre behaviour. James has front aero damage, wake suspension, and oh, that's a weird combination of damage. They must have been hit quite awkwardly. John Wandering has avoided damage. They're going into the pits anyway. I'm just wanting fresh tyres, I suppose. It's going to be Rappy. Wait, what? Am I seeing this right? Rappy with damage has opted to stay out in the lead of the race. Now, this is interesting. They do have suspension damage on board with that. If it was just rear aero, then that would be, you know, somewhat drivable, but the suspension can really unsettle the car as well. That is a surprising move. Hopefully they're gonna stay safe with that. Wybear's benefited from this, Stig has benefited from this. Those are the two main winners in this, I'd say. Rotary in the Jaguar, also up to 4th. James 9th, Fred 10th. Remember when Fred was leading the race? Now he's down to 10th. John Wandering in 11th. 12th place is Wake. I think he went off there. Wait, what? What the... What? Oh, what's happened now? Was that Quinners running into the back of Wake? That was an odd one. I'm gonna have to have an on-board of this. What? Let's see. Oh! So it was people just closing up. Constantina effect, and it caught both of those guys out. There you see it. This is why... I'm not sure if ARS has this implemented, but the Nukeshot Endurance series, we implemented a minimum gap of 2 car lengths between each cars during safety car procedures, so perhaps Narrows Racing Series could benefit from something similar. We're seeing quite a lot of incidents under the safety car, which is unfortunate to see. Gradually burning through the laps. At this rate, it's going to be a lottery as to who wins. Whose strategy is going to pay off here? For all I know, I could win at this rate. So Rappy allegedly went off the circuit, so now Stig inherits the lead. Oh, what? Why are these... They're now going off on the grass, and... What was this? Fred just having a lapse of concentration or something. Lucky he didn't damage anyone else with that. We're not restarting this time around. Perhaps it'll be the lap after. Of course, all incidents will be investigated post-race by the stewards. So we're going to try and go for a rundown of the order now, I think. Joe somehow into the lead. I don't know how. Wait, actually, yeah, did he make a pit stop again or something? That way he managed to get out ahead. Oh, apologies. Car length between the cars. Let's see. No, Joe has just somehow managed to get ahead of Stig. What on earth has happened to Stig there? I think Stig has left. Stig has had enough. I honestly can't say I blame him. It's been a very chaotic opening race of the season. So that would explain why Joe up the order, but then again, wasn't Rappy in second? How does Joe manage to get out to first? Unless Joe can't see everyone on circuit, Farron syndrome, as we call it. Oh, I would not like to be a steward for this one, Chief. This is definitely a confusing case. Just going off track position now. Joe in the lead, Rappy second, Wybear third. Wybear quite a beneficiary of all of this. Rotary fourth, Splurge fifth, James sixth, Fred seventh, Swablu eighth, ninth is Amuda, 10th is Quinners, 11th is John Wondering, 12th is Wake. I think Wake was very high up the order, and now look, everyone being told again to stay single file. You think Rappy hit Stig under full course yellow and... okay. Thanks for noting that, Swablu. We're now going green here. Once again, let's hope things stay relatively sane. Wipeout to second. As... I think that was Rappy that went into the pits off the start. Splurge down the inside of Wybear, so Splurge up to second now. Wybear back down to fourth. Gained one position, then lost two. Very slip and slide action here. James now pressuring the BMW. Fred trying to make their way through three wide. They made their way through the Mercedes arena. Swablu sixth at the moment. These guys staying very, very close together. Hopefully we'll be able to stay clean this time. As I think there's a bit of side-by-side action here. Roland and Amuda, we're seeing this. Roland manages to sneak his way down the inside of the American. Oh, Twitch from Amuda's car. He manages to catch it, but he's lost a fair bit of time from that. Joe now with a 2.8 second lead over Splurge, over Rotary, over Wybear, over James. We'll just stick with some of these guys at the moment. I think perhaps a rear wing cam on Rotato's car might be of good use at the moment. James going a bit deep through the chicane, loses a bit of ground, now pulls off to the side, he goes into the pits in fact. So a couple more guys enter the pit lane. He's picked up damage. So collision with them and Swablu. They both decided not to call for another full course caution. I think everyone's a little bit fed up with that at the moment, so they've essentially given a referee's decision of play on after an incident. Keep everything moving. 3.2 seconds is the gap between Splurge and Joe. Wybear putting pressure on Rotary. Rotary doing a very good job, considering he switched cars quite late, now up to third place. He's been there or thereabouts. Earlier on in the race, he was hanging around 9th or 10th, but now he finds himself, with the look of the draw, in third, trying to hold off Wybear. Here is Quinners, mentioned by Quinners fan. Thick Quinners fan, in fact. Also, hello to Real Crazy in chat as well. Nice to have so many people along. Here we go. Is everyone okay? Hopefully, if anything, they'll start spacing out. That way, they'll be less likely to have an incident. We're now at the 3/4 of the race distance marker, 36 laps in the books. 12 to go here at Nürburgring on the GP circuit. Again, if you're enjoying the stream so far and the chaotic action that's unfolding here, be sure to leave a like. Consider subscribing as we plan to do the whole season. Fred in 6th, at the moment being chased down by Wake. Fred on their medium stint now. That is interesting. Perhaps they're trying to go to the end if there isn't another full course caution. Otherwise they might be able to switch over to softs or something. Joe, 3.1 seconds the gap. Look at this, Rotary makes a mistake. Roland pulls up alongside Wybear. Quinners, will they be able to get it done? Yep. Up to 4th they go, and now they're going to try and challenge the Jaguar around the outside. And they make it stick. A fantastic move there by Roland Jupiter. That one's going to get the crowd excited in chat, no doubt. A bit further back here we're seeing Fred putting a bit of pressure on teammate Wybear. Wybear on the better compound, but Fred perhaps with a little bit more pace at this stage. Wybear alongside, not quite. Fred, battle between the two teammates. Oh, Wybear! Contact there with Rotary, who is rotating around once again, as the phrase goes. No fault of their own. Very lucky to avoid damage there. Oh, we're going to have to see this one again, Chief. It looked like it may have been just a little bit too much of a send. Yep, definitely front wheels not ahead of rear wheels. Definitely not half a car length. That one's one to definitely be investigated post-race. Bit of a switchback there, moved by Amuda. Good show by them. They're side by side with the Jaguar as they make their way down the straight, through the kink and down to turn 1, braking. About even on the brakes. I think Rotary is just, oof, nearly cut the nose off the Lexus there. As James dicing here with Wybear. These two going at it. Both the cars very heavily scratched up. Oh, down the inside. Just about leaves enough from there. Can't quite get it to work. Tries to get a bit of a better exit as they make their way down the hill. 10 laps to go meanwhile. Oh, a little bit more contact between the two of them. Making their way towards the Schumacher S. Here we are on board with ART James. Seeing how things transpire. They're looking to the inside. There. Backs out of it. Oh, down the inside for this next corner. Oh! Very, very close to contact. In fact, I think there was a slight bit of contact. Lucky nothing really transpired from that. That Aston Martin is so much faster on the straights. Wybear might have damage from that contact they had with Rotary. Indeed they do. Rear aero damage. And that's Quinner's round! What the... What has happened here? We're gonna see this now. Full course caution called again. Quinners, what happened? Lost it on the curb. And then he reversed. There it is. He should have probably just held on the brake there and collects Wybear. Oh, that is so unfortunate to see. And under full course caution yet again. The lottery continues here on the Nukeshot Media YouTube channel. This has been by far one of the most chaotic races I've had to monitor, incidents aside, just by all the battles going off throughout the field. I honestly don't know what to say at this point, which is bad because I'm the commentator. We're approaching the 90-minute mark, interestingly enough. We're about 3.5 minutes away from that. We still have 9 laps to go. Fastest lap hasn't been touched for quite a while because we haven't had overly much green flag racing, unfortunately, in this half. Fred still with that 53.8. Fred himself currently 4th. So Joe still in the lead of this, from Splurge, from Wake, then Fred, James, Swablu, Bermuda, Rotato, Wybear, John Wandering is there in the yellow hat machine, Roland and Rappy. Now Rappy needs to catch up to the rest of the pack so we can get racing again after just one more lap completion. Several cars in the pits now. Here we see one of the Golden Bear Motorsports Lexi, whatever the plural is. A rejoin in 10th, I believe. Yep, Wybear also exits the pits. They're on their mediums now, so that's that alternate compound that everyone needs to run. Quinner's in 9th after what must have been an absolutely terrifying ordeal. Imagine if that happened in real life. That would be all over the front page of the InsideLine.com for everything ARS. I should say I am not sponsored by the InsideLine.com. It is purely an in-joke on the channel. If anyone does want to sponsor me, then please hit me up. It'd be much appreciated. Even though I don't have a PayPal account, but who knows what will happen. Splurge in 6th. Fred 5th. Swablu 4th. James in 3rd. Wake in 2nd, and Joe is going to be leading us off yet again with 8 laps to go, provided that Rappy catches up. Rappy, please get a move on if you can. It will be cutting it close. It'll be cutting it very close, in fact. Maybe only just. I think for safety we might have to have another lap. Just because of the distance. The leader's approaching the chicane. Yeah, I do think we are going to have another lap. We probably won't be going green this time. Oh, never mind, we are going green this time. Just following the race director's direction. I think actually it might have been a good call because they seem to have just about caught up to the back of the pack. Nearly, maybe not quite. We are green once again here at Nürburgring. Oh, plenty of positions changing further down the order. As the cars make their way through turn 1. Wake and Joe dicing it out a little bit. Fred in 5th at the moment. Oh, Swablu goes down the inside of James. Will they be able to get this move to stick? They're still side by side. I think this is going to back up quite a lot of the field. It's going to allow the top two to start escaping a bit. Fred looks to the inside. And yet, just about manages to get that to stick. Now Splurge looks to the outside. James, a really poor restart there. Once you get overtaken once, it can really unsettle your rhythm, and when cars are so close together after a restart, you really can just start falling down the order, losing a lot of track position. Perhaps didn't warm the tyres up as much as needed. Difficult to tell. Now look, Swablu goes defensive. They make their way up the hill. Fred round the outside, still side by side, a little bit of contact, onion barges. Oh, very, very tense indeed. Fred just about manages to get his way up to third. Oh, look at this from Splurge in the back. Amuda moves up to 8th meanwhile. Swablu tries to get by. Oh, here it is, the duel between Amuda and Roland. Whoa! That was very sensitive. Let's see what happened here. So Roland, a little bit of contact with Rotary. There was room on the outside still left. I think that's just the James were drifting out a little bit. And these three had quite a scrap going into here. Amuda sends it at the chicane. Roland there. Then just the slightest bit of contact unsettled the back of the Porsche. The top two are breaking away. Joe and Wake, Brit and Belgian. We're officially having calm down warnings given to Amuda and Rappi. By the race director. I know, curse of the commentator. It's definitely a thing, unfortunately. So Splurge chasing down Swablu as they make their way up the hill, other of the Porsches. Making their way up. Good line there. Oh, Swablu seems to be quite slow. Mid-apex. Porsche managed to catch up quite a bit. They had to slow down. And that's allowing James in the Arrows Racing Blue Aston Martin to have a little bit of a run. They back out of it. $125 comments on stream. Now, will the Porsche be able to get a bit of a run on the Mercedes? They're close. Was close down to the inside? It would seem like it. They aren't quite close enough, but they are as close as they can get without being close enough. Amuda in 7th at the moment, Wybear 8th, slipping and sliding a bit on those mediums. 9th is Rotator. Very closely chased down by John Wandering, actually. Having a good scrap at the moment. The Yellow Hat Machine putting up a good fight. There is Rappi as well in 11th. Oh, nearly making a mistake. Just getting the wheels on the grass there. Oh, ah. Those were words that came out of my mouth. Very nearly collecting John Wandering. And Quinners, unfortunately, as we're seeing, at the very back of the pack after that spin that they had. But look at the optimal of Quinners, a 1:53.6. Meanwhile, the fastest lap of the race reset by Fred Dude, 1:53.606. They've certainly got pace here at this stage. John Wandering now drops down to 12th. He's still fighting Roland for it though. Good duel between the two of them, making their way through here. Fred up to third. Just noticed. The two cars side by side, I think Roland's just about got that one covered. Yep, Fred third, Swablu fourth, now James ahead of Spludge, so that happened somewhere. James now closing up to Swablu. There. Apologies, Fred purple in sector 1 again. They are really coming alive this stint. Fresh tyres, very low fuel load. They're going to do their best to try and eat into the gap of the cars ahead. They seem to be doing a good job of it as well in these closing stages of the race. Lap 44 of 48 here at Nürburgring. Again, nearly a 10th purple. That's going to be something to watch, as Wake seems to be closing in on Joe. We did see Joe have tyre wear issues in his first stint. That seems to be manifesting itself a little bit again. The gap now down 0.4 of a second. Wake is absolutely charging right now. Some more overtaking happening a bit further down the order, I think. Carl Rappy down in 11th there. I think the duel was between Quinners and Rotary. So Quinners is making a little bit of ground. See, thinking about making a move, decides to back out of it. Return to the racing line. Gets a little bit of a run on the Jaguar. Through Coca-Cola. Manages to slot it down the inside. Up into 9th place. Oh, the Jaguar very snaky as they run over the AstroTurf. Apologies if I am talking a bit quieter than I was before, because it is getting a bit late. I do have neighbours. Side by side they still run as they make their way through the Mercedes arena now. I think Gunners just about has that. Look at this though from Wake. 0.5 the gap. Still closing in. James and Swablu battling for fourth. Let's see this. Around the outside went James of Arrows Racing Blue. Two wheels on the grass there. Still manages to get the car stopped with the dirty tyres. And now Swablu, probably hanging around the outside of the Dunlop hairpin, has managed to get a run up the Shumi ass and manages to retake that place. Side by side they come up to this right angled corner. Oh, look how late the Aston Martin brakes there compared to the Mercedes, and he gets it stopped as well. Fantastic stuff there by ART James. The Mercedes seems to be struggling a lot more for tyre wear than some of the other cars, although again difficult to monitor with the different tyre strategies. I've lost track probably an hour ago. Side by side through the NGK chicane. James just about manages to hold on to it. As, oh wait, Wake has managed to get into the lead of the race. My apologies for somehow missing that. What happened? It might have been a mistake from Joe or something, but now we have to monitor this lead battle for the final laps. I'm sorry, 3 cars still in the mix. Simpact AMG in the lead, followed now by Fred Dude, who is in the BMW by Nukeshot Starscream car, and the Simpact Gojira Nissan of Wake now in third. Things have somehow developed into 3 of the highest ranked drivers in this race coming together in the finale of it. Who's going to come out on top? Still a few laps to go. Lap 46 of 48, as I said. If you are enjoying this fantastic battle that's now developed towards the end of the race, again, be sure to leave a like if you want. Consider subscribing as well. We're going to cover the whole season, as I mentioned before. Oh, fakes going out, then does go out. The triple agent there, making their way through. Now Fred will have the slipstream here. Remember, they did go fastest in qualifying. They have the fastest lap of the race as well. They pull alongside Joe, as Joe has to go defensive. Oh, manages to get ahead again. It's just the camera tricking me. These three guys still extremely close together. I'm gonna go for an onboard rear wing cam if I can here of the Joe 2 guy. The positioning on this isn't the best. Still blocks the view. Here we see Joe going defensive to the inside. Fred has to try the outside if he tries at all here. Perhaps a cutback. Joe brakes a little bit too late. They're side by side. Fred gonna try and hang around the outside. Through the Mercedes arena they go. Fred, dude, into the lead of this race. 2 laps to go. 1 3/4 probably now, as Joe slides his way out of the Mercedes arena. The tyres looking past their best, especially compared to Fred. Fred might be a bit marginal on fuel, but he's certainly got the tyres underneath him. And now is perhaps a battle for second, although who knows, Fred could make a mistake. Let's hope that isn't cursing the commentator, because he drives for my team. Oh, this is unbelievable scenes as we approach the conclusion of this race. 8/10 the gap now. Fred in the clear air is starting to get a little bit of a gap. Hasn't broke the slipstream yet. The Gojira Nissan looking extremely racy at the moment though, with the kind of pace they're pulling. Joe misses the apex slightly, runs a bit wide. They are really struggling on their tyres. They're giving it all they can, bringing every last tenth that the rubber can give him. Will it be enough? You see the BMW has got a little bit of a gap now. Oh, he brakes very, very late. Manages to close up. I don't know if Joe could have broke even 0.001 of a second later without going off there. That was fantastic stuff. Commitment as we go on to the final lap of the race here at Nürburgring. Fred Dude leads. Wake in third. Pulls out. Joe gonna have to try and defend round the outside. Wake on the better tyres, I think. It's marginal. Joe just about manages to hold on to it for now. As they make their way through the Mercedes arena for the last time of asking. We have had a minute of racing, an hour and 44 minutes so far. Through they come. Apologies if I can't monitor all the other battles that are probably going off right now. This is for the highest ranked position and it is absolutely epic. Here we see Joe has to defend the inside. Wake in the Nissan tries the outside through the Dunlop hairpin. Joe just about manages to hold on. Wake tries to set up the cutback. Joe just about has it now. Oh, nearly pulls alongside. Definitely has to think better of it as they go through the Schumi S. Only one line through there. If you can take it flat out, round the outside goes Wake. And does he get it done this time? Little bit of onion barges between the two of them, and Wake does manage to find his way through. Will Joe be able to counter anything as he has the slipstream? He's going to try the inside here of the kink. Can't quite get the run. Wake goes very defensive. Oh, contact between the two of them. They're over the curbs. Who's going to get it? It's going to be Fred, dude, coming around the final corner to take the win here at round 1 of the ARS World GT Series. Congratulations to them, but look at this. Unbelievable scenes. Wake just about holds on. Unbelievable racing. I'm trying to express how excited I am while being as quiet as I can. It is so late, but Wake manages to take second place from the Joe 2 guy. James takes a valiant fourth, Splurge fifth, Swablu sixth, Wybear seventh, Roland Quinners manages to take 8th place, Amuda 9th, 10th goes the way of Rotato. Rappy will just about... Oh wait, have they ran out of fuel? They have! They've ran out of fuel and they've nudged John Wandering off. I think because John Wandering still has the fuel, they'll still be able to take 11th, yep. So John Wandering takes 11th and Rappy will be 12th. Very cheeky move there, pushing him off to the gravel trap. It is a victory for Fred, dude. Pole position, fastest lap, and the race win. Absolutely unbelievable scenes. What a lottery that was. But in the end, somehow it was our pole sitter that came out on top. Fantastic battle towards the end. Great battling towards the front. Plenty of full course caution, mixing it up. Whew. That was definitely something. I'm going to save the replay just in case I do have to investigate any incidents. Here are your results then. At the end of the day, it is Fred Dude winning the race by 5 seconds. The gap increased as the two Simpact different teams battled their way for second. In the end, it was the Gojira team coming out ahead of the Simpact AMG Mercedes. You can see the gap there. 14 tenths of a second, I believe that is. Or rather, 14 thousandths. Apologies, that miscalculation. So well done to them for a fantastic battle. Wake ahead of Joe. It's a Belgian 1-2 here at the Nürburgring, with James 4th, 5th for Splurge, Swablu 6th, Whitebear in 7th, Roland 8th, Amuda 9th, 10th goes the way of Rotary, 11th for John Wandering, and Rappy, who ran out of fuel, nearly had 11th, had to settle for 12th. Well, that was certainly eventful. We hope you have enjoyed all the action that we've managed to bring you today, here live from the Nürburgring. It has been absolutely chaotic, and we hope that you look forward to seeing more on the channel of the competitive side of things. Hopefully less safety car procedures, the full course yellows. But besides that, we did see some fantastic racing, especially towards the end. So hopefully you will stick around for more on the channel. We will be covering the entire season. I shall quickly check to see where we're heading next time out. We're going to be having the first of the sprint rounds, actually. That's going to be at Monza. That's going to be in 1 week's time, the 17th of April 2020, same time, same place. Hope to see you then. Until then, this has been Nukeshot Media. I am Nukeshot Zokeo, and until next time, I will hope to see you then. Bye guys.